It is the only Golgotha where he is buried. The little form that he wears is the only cross that he ever wore. This is the cross that he wears. He is buried in the human skull. And from the human skull, he rises. And when he rises from that skull, everything said of him in Scripture, that individual in whom he rose, experiencing. Now he tells it. Very few will receive it. Very few. He will make himself manifest to those who receive it. And they will see him, and there will be no uncertainty as to what they see. They will know him to be Jesus Christ. So do I believe in him? Certainly. Is he individualized? Certainly. You will know him to be Jesus Christ, and yet your identity has not changed. You are completely individualized. We are the sons of God, and no two were crested in the same manner. That's what AE saw. That's what I see. I do not see one being where it is all gathered together and all have lost their identity. No. Yet each is Jesus Christ. The same being, and yet playing a different part in the body of God. All one body, one Spirit, one Lord, one God, and Father of all. So, if I believe in the historicity, I certainly do in this sense, but only in this sense, that taking place now in the world, he is being awakened in men, awakened in women. And as he rises in them, he is the same Jesus Christ spoken of in Scripture. And while he walks the earth, he will have witnesses to that. They will see him and know him to be Jesus Christ. And when he departs this world, which will be for the last time, he will appear then to many. He will appear first to the one called Peter, who is not a man. Peter is a state of consciousness. Then he appears to the disciples. They are not men, they are states of consciousness. Then he appears to over 500 at once. Then he appears to James. Then he appears to the apostles. Then he appears, last of all, to Paul. These are all states of consciousness. They all must bear witness of who he is. He knows who he is. Because he has had the experience that he talks about when he rose from his body. And his brothers who preceded him in the rising greeted him. And he raises his hands in greeting to his brothers. He hadn't seen them since the journey began. And now the darkness is over, and he's returned to the light. And they all meet him. And then together we all move into the light. At the end of the great place where first he was placed. He was there dreaming the entire dream of life. So it took 6,000 years. So what is 6,000 years? He was told in the beginning it would take him 6,000 years. But what would be 6,000 years when 1,000 years is as a day in the eyes of God? It'll take you 6 days, and the world will call it 6,000. And the horrors and things that you will do, and everything man has ever done, you will do. Let no one tell you that you're so holy and so good you're going to avoid the doing. Everything that man has ever done is discussed openly in the Bible. We take the most glorious character of the Old Testament, David. Read him carefully. You'll find him in the book of Samuel, 2 books, the book of Kings, 2 books, the book of Chronicles, 2 books. Read it. If you don't think he's a rascal, then I do not know what a rascal is. And yet here is God's chosen one. There was an extortionist. He goes to Nabal, the rich one. And he tells Nabal to give him money, a large sum of money, for protection. Well, that happens today. Protection money. What protection? It came at the time of the sharing of the sheep. And here is Nabal, this fabulously wealthy person, and now is the time to share the sheep. And he sends his messengers, David does, asking for extortion money to protect him. Like someone coming to you selling your little vegetables on the side, and you want protection money. And you say, well, my people are nice people. They come and they pay in cash. If he doesn't have cash tonight, I give him credit because tomorrow he'll pass by, he'll pay me. And you say, no, you need protection. I don't need protection. And then within the week, you will know you need protection. He throws kerosene oil all over your vegetables. Protection from whom? From the rascal. And he was the extortionist. Everything. He sent Uriah into battle. Knowing he would be killed, then he could get Bathsheba. Then after he simply foiled, not Uriah, but Nabal dropped dead from fright. And then he took Nabal's wife. Before he took Nabal's wife, he took Nabal's money. He married Abigail, did he not? So you take the character, and yet he only personifies humanity. Everything that man could ever conceive of doing, David did. Now you take all the generations of men and all of their experiences and actually congest it into a single being and project it. And that being is David. He is the Son of God. For who is playing all the parts? God. For God is made up of his sons. And all the sons together, all the generations of men, and all of their experiences fused into a single being and personified comes out as David. And David stands before you and calls you Father. Then you know who you are. No one has ever seen God, but his only Son, who is dearest and nearest to his heart, he has made him known. Well, who is his Son? Who is the one dearest to his heart? Are we not told in the book of Acts, I have found David, the son of Jesse, a man after my own heart, who will do all my will. And here is David, a man after my own heart, who will do all my will, and he is the Son of God. So when David stands and calls you Father, you know who you are. You are God.